Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, and welcome back to Behind the Velvet Rope. On this episode, we give you a little taste of everything. So if you're interested in hearing from some of the biggest movie stars on the planet, respected sports legends, and some of the world's most beautiful women, stay tuned as we take you behind the velvet rope. It's the unofficial beginning of Oscar season, and we were on the red carpet at the National Board of Review Gala, where we spoke with this year's honorees about their critically acclaimed performances. Mad Max Fury Road was chosen as this year's Best Picture, while other movies such as Room, The Big Short, and The Martian were also honored.
The incomparable Sir Ridley Scott. So first of all, congratulations on being honored by the National Board of Review tonight. This movie, The Martian, is such a unique science fiction movie because it's more about interpersonal relationships and survival than it is about science fiction.
Yeah.
When did you decide that's what you wanted?
Well, I think it all adds up. When the end of it, you wonder where it's going, and it gradually starts to add up. Into it becomes a lesson or advice or lesson in life. Nike invented a great one who said, just do it. And that's a piece of advice, really. And this man who was in dire straits had to deal with what was in front of him, and he could have bitten the pill and let himself go. There is one. Or he had to deal with it, and he wanted to live. And so seeing this guy evolve, then work it out, and then have to find as a mode of sustaining his uplifting his courage and everything else, keep himself going, he finds a sense of humor. So in a funny kind of way, it has everything.
Take me through the process and the experience of working with one of the best in the business, Quentin Tarantino.
I mean, he's incredible. He's incredibly enthusiastic. He has all the energy you would expect him to have, and he loves people, and he loves what they do, and he expects and demands the best that everyone has, and everyone wants to give that to him. So it's a really fun place to work.
You're presenting here tonight for National Board of Review, so I want to ask you a two-folded question. Number one is, talk to me about the honor of presenting here, and two, I want to ask you about Clouds of Sils Maria, one of my favorite movies of the year.
Being here is such an honor. I've never stepped into this whole awards season-y environment. And I've grown up my entire life just being absolutely enthralled with cinema in general. And so I feel really happy and sort of stoked to be here.
Clouds of Sils Maria, what an incredible movie. Talk to me about bringing Juliet's assistant to life, because it's a thankless job. People don't realize it. So bringing that to life, what was it like?
It was interesting. I've seen a lot of assistants, on the job. And I just know how to take care of an actress in a sensitive spot more than probably anyone. I would be a really great assistant, and I really love Juliet. And to be able to sort of ironically comment on how silly all of this can be was fun.
Before I was a TV host, I was a financial advisor, and I didn't even know how incredibly intricate this stuff was. Mm-hmm. Did you know that it had to be part of the purpose of the movie to explain this to people and to really lay it out as like a puzzle?
I felt like it was essential. Otherwise, you'd just be saying to the audience, trust us, this was bad. But when you really show them the elaborate, esoteric nature of it, in the end, they can conclude that it's not that tricky. Because that was my conclusion, is as crazy as it sounds, it's actually not that hard to get. But the banks go through a lot of effort to make you feel stupid, bored. So I felt like that was a big part of the movie.
One of the incredible things, especially with your characters, we see guys trying to get rich, but then they realize at the end that there's an ethics behind getting rich, and it sobers them. Yeah. Talk to me about that and telling that's part of the story.
Well, yeah, I think, it plays on things of the American dream, which is part of owning a home, but also like making a lot of money, like just getting really, really rich. And then these guys, because they do have a conscience, sort of realize that a lot of their money is on the backs of the average American worker, consumer, and so it's a very kind of ambivalent thing for them, for their sort of moral compass.
Being honored tonight, how incredible is it to have the National Board of Review recognizing this movie and this work?
Oh, it's such a thrill to make something that you love and that it turns out other people are kind of finding affection for as well. That's lucky. You don't get that with your children even often.
Does it make it more meaningful? Because you're right, this movie, it didn't just impact lives, it destroyed lives. So when you're able to tell that story as an artist, what does that mean?
It's why I became an actor. I think it's why art is important. Art, I think that's what's great about this film, and it made the topic of what happened very accessible. Because a lot of people were affected by it, but we don't know what happened, and this film does a really great job of breaking that down.
Mad Max, George Miller, that was something else. I came out of the movie theater and said this was the best action movie I've seen in 10, 20 years. So,
that's good. Thank you.
And you're one of many honors this year, I'm sure. Talk to me about National Board of Review honor tonight.
Well, the film was released in the summer last year. I never expected to be talking about it. And when the National Board of Review decided to give it this award, it sort of opened up the conversation, opened up the door for this to be considered for other awards. So it's really, really surprising and, must say, delightful.
Working with Michael B. Jordan, what's beautiful is you've got two different people dealing with their own adversities, because obviously you're losing your hearing in the movie. Talk to me about how those two bonded together to strengthen each other.
Yeah, I think it was important for us to tell the story of what millennial love looks like. We live in a time where women are just as ambitious, if not more, than their male counterparts in relationships sometimes. And so we also wanted to talk about what that does to a relationship. Sometimes it's so inspirational to have someone side by side with you that wants things that are as big as your dreams, but sometimes it could cause, adversity within a situation. So we wanted to talk about that, and I think it's special. It's unlike a pairing that I've seen, especially in a sports movie.
The movie is shot so beautifully. One of the characters, I feel like, is the scenery in Sicario. Talk to me about bringing Mexico and the drug trade to life through location.
Well, that was very part of it. You say the landscape is so much part of the film as a character. It is. But originally it wasn't going to be so much that way, but it was like the way the weather was that year while we were shooting, we got these amazing skies. And so we realized that it had to be a character.
This has got to be pretty cool, man. Your movie room, National Board of Review. How cool is it for you?
It's really, really fun. It's great. It's great. This is the coolest thing. This is pretty cool. This tops a lot of stuff.
How do you get a gig as a presenter at the National Board of Review?
I don't know. I'm delighted, though. I have met Andy Weir a couple times. He's a member of the Planetary Society. I'm the CEO of the Planetary Society. We advance space science and exploration. So Andy Weir wrote The Martian. And then Drew Goddard adapted the book to become the screenplay. So I wonder if there's some connection in there that I got to be the presenter for the screndplay.
You saw The Martian, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
Your thoughts, and could it have happened? Could someone survive on Mars the way Matt Damon did?
Yes, but keep in mind, would he have gotten trapped there the way he did? Maybe not. But that's right. Once the story starts, the guy used all his resources and he used science to save himself. It's cool.
How did you find out you're going to be presenting?
They actually said, would I want to do it? And I live 5 blocks away. What am I going to say? No?
Because the cab ride, you're saying no.
Yeah, really. So no, I was thrilled. It's nice.
What's going on in the world of Lewis Black right now? What's next for you?
I'm in the mini-series Madoff.
Oh my God, I was just talking to Blythe Danner about
that. Right, yeah.
How cool is that going to be? Please walk me through that.
It's going to be... Richard, I think, was really remarkable in the scene. I mean, I watched him do a chunk of it. He's really, perfect.
You're being honored tonight. How incredible. Talk to me about the National Board of Review honoring you.
Well, this is an industry. This is an industry that understands film preservation, understands the art, and to be honored by them with this wonderful award is very exciting.
Screenwriter Dalton Trumbo's life is a cautionary tale on how bigotry and censorship can threaten the creation of art. His life and persecution are brought to the big screen in Trumbo and star a sensational cast including Bryan Cranston, Helen Mirren, and Diane Lane. The stars shared their thoughts on the blacklisted Hollywood 10 at the New York premiere.
First of all, Brian, you're wearing the pin. How cool is that?
My little guy.
I love that. Everyone has the pins on tonight, I noticed.
Well, most people do. Special people. No, it's fun, yeah.
You've played everybody, from Walter White to Lyndon Johnson. How do you prep for a role like Dalton Trumbo?
Well, you know, when it's a non-fictional character, there is more responsibility. The people who knew him in the recent history that this is are still alive. His two daughters are still alive and well. His daughter-in-law, his colleagues, some are still with us. And you hope that you do him justice, that you portray him honestly and present the essence of that character, not to try to do an impersonation of that character. And hopefully we've succeeded.
How does a topic like this relate to today's cultural society?
I think it can relate. Anytime that civil liberties are in jeopardy, the citizens need to stand up and revolt. It's how the country was created. Dissension is a cornerstone of America. And it's okay not to be afraid of someone else's opinion if it differs from yours. You can embrace it and still hold true to your own.
Talk to me about bringing Kade to life. She's a pretty larger-than-life character.
She is, and she was, luckily, in real life. It's always great when you play a real-life character that has real presence. I found that with Maria Altman in Woman in Gold, discovering her personality. She was a fierce and fearsome personality, and likewise Kade, obviously in a completely different way, but she was a woman of, Kade in particular, was a woman of extremes, She was unafraid of being fearful. Not fearful, fear-mongering. She was unafraid of being fear-mongering. She called her house the house that fear built. So she was quite ruthless. And very often, if journalists are prepared to be utterly ruthless and without conscience, unfortunately, they do rather well.
Isn't it mind-blowing when you look at this? It's hard to believe, living in America, that something like this could go on.
In the name of being American.
Isn't it crazy?
Yes.
When you were partaking in it, what were some of the learnings you took away, things that you couldn't even believe?
Well, it's interesting what I would say the flexibility of the First Amendment in terms of it being protected or removed from certain people at certain times in using certain methodologies, and the shunning and the shaming and the removal of being able to earn a living is you get to see the whole impact in our story, and it's beautifully done. I'm very proud.
You're in 2 movies now depicting 2 very unique and controversial figures, Steve Jobs, obviously, and Dalton Trumbo. Talk to me about either the similarities or the differences between telling those 2 stories.
Well, very different stories indeed. Dalton Trumbo was somebody who believed passionately in being American and also being able to speak what was in your heart and in your mind, and went to prison for it, and really, went out of his way to try to find a way through the tyranny that was going on, caused by the House Un-American Activities Committee. Steve Jobs was also a very single-minded individual in a very different way, and was, I guess, very much about trying to get the best out of everyone.
As you dig into it, you really get into his life.
Yeah.
What were some of the things you learned that you didn't know about?
I did not know that
the impetus to have Congress come out and investigate Hollywood did not come from Congress. It came from directors and writers and people like Sam Wood, Hedda Hopper, who was a gossip columnist, invited Congress to come and clean up Hollywood. And I think it was a lot of people sort of trying to make a name for themselves by seeming more patriotic and more anti-communist than the next person. And it just escalated exactly like a witch hunt. It became something where nothing related to the original real threat of totalitarian communism was involved at all. It was all about just rounding up these troublemakers who were pro-FDR, pro-strikes, and anti-fascism. So it was a weird spell that they all kind of cast on it, and Trumbo helped break that spell.
He's not only one of baseball's most successful managers, but also one of its most philanthropic. Every year, Joe Torre and his Safe at Home Foundation unite baseball's greatest legends to help fight against domestic abuse. This year was no exception, and we chatted with Joe Torre, as well as Derek Jeter, Bill O'Reilly, Michael Bolton, and honoree David Cohn on the red carpet.
Congratulations, man. This foundation, 13 years of work that you're doing is just incredible. Talk to me about being able to teach people about something that's really close to your own heart.
Well, we want youngsters to know that there's somebody out there that cares about them. And you know, our future, whether the kids possess the same last name as we do, I think it's our responsibility to make their future bright. And well, where to, you know, because a lot of these kids have dealt with abuse in their lives, not necessarily getting abused, but the fear that's been created by the abuse that they not only, you know, witness, but it creates this fear in themselves, low self-esteem. So what we do, Arthur, is basically let them know it's not their fault. And they're not alone. There are other youngsters going through it. They get a chance to talk to other youngsters in the school, and then we try to help their self-esteem, and we've had pretty good success with it. Over 50,000 kids we've had come through our program.
One of the Yankees greats supporting another one of the Yankee greats. Talk to me about Derek Jeter being here to support Joe Torre and the wonderful work he's doing with the Safe at Home Foundation.
He does so much great work in the community, through his foundation. For him to use the platform that he has and give back and touch as many people as possible, it's something that he should be commended for, and his wife as well, his entire family.
What does he mean to you? He's such an incredible leader, but what did he mean to you as a person and for your career?
I learned quite a bit from him. You know, he was, in my mind, one of the best leaders I've ever met. And, he was always open and honest, and he treated us with respect. Therefore, he commanded respect. And he's the reason why you see everyone show up tonight.
So how does Michael Bolton end up at Joe Torre's Safe at Home Foundation event?
Well, there are two very intense things Joe and I have in common. One of them is love of the Yankees, which was when I met him. I was born into the Yankees. I was born into the Mantle Maris chase in '61. And Joe has created something that is along the lines of the work I do for 23 years on behalf of women and children at risk, mostly because of domestic violence. When Joe announced his foundation and the reason he was starting it, I was just floored. But there couldn't be a better ambassador for the kind of change that's needed in protecting women from violence than Joe Torre.
Talk to me about Joe Torre, because when you think of leader, he's at the top of the list. What makes him such a great leader and such a great person?
Joe Torre's leadership stems from honesty. He's a Brooklyn guy. My father's a Brooklyn guy, and he's just honest. So when he was manager, he's honest with the players. Now that he's with the league, he's just honest. And so he's a quiet guy. He's not a crazy guy like me. But when you have that kind of dignity and honesty, people naturally follow you.
I think Joe has a way with people that is really special. He's a great listener, and people look up to him because of the great judgment that he has on all sorts of issues.
I think just the person that he is, as much as anything. He treats people with respect, calm in most situations. And then he put the wins up. You know, I think when you put the championships up, it turns you to another level. But that's kind of a separate issue than Joe the person. And Joe the person is a loyal friend and just a great person.
You've had many honors over your career, but tonight you're being honored by Joe Torre by the Safe at Home Foundation. The work he's doing with this organization is so freaking awesome. So talk to me about this honor.
Well, it's a tremendous honor coming from Joe. I mean, I love the man. We've been through so much together. We've been up and down ticker tape parades right here on Broadway, about 4 of them over the years, so it means a lot. He's a true leader and one of the best I've ever been around, and I love that man, and I'd do anything for him.
We're seeing more and more conversation around domestic abuse. So to have someone like Joe come out, you know, he's a man's man. You think of Joe Torre, you're like, man's man. To have someone like him come out, talk to me about the courage that he displayed.
Well, I we've had a couple of conversations. I never had pride into how difficult, but I know it was a very tough call. He did later in his life, because you know your personal life's your personal life, and this was very painful for him and his family. But when he saw what was possible, the impact he could have, typical Joe, he jumped out there and he jumped out in a big way, and he's got the perfect partner in Allie. They really go at it, and their conception of how to do good, especially with kids in schools. It's wonderful.
What's it like to be considered the most beautiful woman in the universe? Well, when I sat down with Pia Wurtzbach, aka this year's Miss Universe, at her apartment, we got the lowdown.
I was watching Miss Universe that night, and there was also a football game on at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm flipping back and forth, and they announced Miss Columbia as the winner. So I flip over back to the football game. I'm like, okay, cool. That's who we'll be interviewing when she's in New York. I, for some reason, flick back, and I see your face, and obviously the whole Steve Harvey thing happens. I know you've been asked all week, and I'm so curious. I didn't see any other interviews you did specifically because I wanted the answer for me to be kind of organic.
Okay.
What was that moment like? Walk me through, you know, just everything that was going on in your mind, what's going on the stage. I'm dying. Like, what was it like there?
It was a big surprise, of course. Nobody was expecting that to happen, but it was a mistake. I understand it's live television, but it was so exciting for me because, of course, I wanted to win, just like everybody else. I mean, I was under a lot of pressure from my fellow countrymen, and we've been doing so well in the past couple of years in Miss Universe. We've always landed up in the top 5, and I didn't want to be the one to break that streak. It was, to me, it's either win or, you know, like,
or don't return to the Philippines, or immigrate to the United States.
So, yeah, I was under a lot of pressure, but it was okay. It all worked out in the end. So I was super excited. I might not have gotten the traditional crowning moment that every Miss Universe usually has, but I still won, so can't complain.
You're also, that I know, the first Miss Universe that can say, hey, I experienced both, and I experienced what it was like to be runner-up. What was it like for you when you thought you were runner-up? What was the mentality like at that moment?
When you compete for Miss Universe and you know you're competing against 79 other beautiful women who also won in their national pageants, the only thing you can hope for is you make your country proud. Because you can prepare for it for such a long time, but that final result is out of your hands. So when I was called first runner-up, I was thinking, almost there. But I was walking past the audience, who just happened to be Filipino. They were all, you know, saying to me, we're so proud of you, congratulations. And I was thinking to myself, okay, that's a relief. Okay, at least I made them proud. At least, you know, nobody has any ill feelings or nobody's bitter or anything. We're all happy to make it that far in Miss Universe. But of course, when I was called the winner instead, well, I was even more happy. And I was saying to myself, okay, looks like I'm not going home after all. Not just yet.
Two of fashion's most iconic supermodels are doing incredible work both on and off the runway. We spoke with Christie Brinkley about her incredible work with the Smile Train organization, as well as Adriana Lima, who was the first Victoria's Secret angel honored with a wax-figured Madame Tussauds.
As a longtime supporter of Smile Train, I am so honored to be here today to light the Empire State Building and help raise awareness of the issues that children with cleft palate face in the developing world. funds we raise today will help transform children's lives forever and light up the world with smiles.
Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, a national treasure standing next to me, the one and only Christie Brinkley. This organization, you're here at the Empire State Building, this organization that you lit the Empire State Building for, Smile Train, is so wonderful. Talk to me about the work that they're doing.
This organization, the Smile Train, is so fantastic because they have created a model that is working so well. They have given over 1 million children the cleft repair surgeries that literally save their lives and also transform their lives in the most amazing way. And every 5 minutes, another child is getting the surgery and their life is being transformed. And you're giving the child a smile, you're giving the entire family a smile. It is, I mean, to be here today at the Empire State Building and help shine a light on this organization. We're lighting up the tower tonight, and it's going to be in the red and blue colors of Smile Train, and they are so deserving. I love them so much.
3, 2, 1. Oh my God!
Was already great with one Adriana Lima in it, but now we have a second Adriana Lima. First of all, how cool is this? You get a wax figure of Madame Tussauds.
It's a huge gift, and I cannot thank enough Madame Tussauds and Victoria's Secret, which with Victoria's Secret I will not be here, and having a wax figure of myself and looking at myself for the first time is like insane. It's so perfect, all the details. I cannot believe it. I mean, I remember the day that we were taking all the measurements. It was like over 5 hours, and I was wearing this outfit, and I was exactly in the same position that you see in the wax figure, and the expression is exactly the same, and they have like different people, and each person was like responsible. One person was responsible for like matching my skin tone, my eye color. I took molds of my hand, of my teeth. It was insane. It was insane. Like the hair color, and by the way, it's real hair.
I know, it's
everything.
Just to touch it.
Yeah, touch it. Touch it. You can touch it. That one you can touch.
I'm touching
no
Adriana
problem.
Lima.
That one, go ahead. Go ahead.
Even the tattoo. I've got to show this.
Yes.
These are your tattoos right here.
Yes.
How cool is that?
Even the tattoo, it's just like mine. The beauty mark, I have also a beauty mark there on the chin. That's like
I never noticed that.
It's crazy. Yes, the same.
Priyanka Chopra is taking over the world. India's biggest movie star has become a household name in the U.S. following the success of ABC's Quantico. Check out what she told us about the new chapter in her career. Another responsibility you have is carrying one of the hottest shows on TV. Quantico, congratulations. Alex Parrish, you'd mentioned kick-ass characters. She is a kick-ass character. Talk to me about getting to play Alex and the success of Quantico.
It was so fun. I mean, that blows my mind. So Kelly Lee, who is the VP of casting for ABC, came to India to meet me while I was filming another Indian movie to talk to me about doing a holding deal with ABC. And I was like, TV, it's such a long commitment. I don't know, I've never done TV. That too in another country, like 16-hour flight, I don't know. So she spoke to me about a day, for an entire day, and she said, just come to LA, read the scripts and see how you feel. So I was like, all right, that's not a problem. So I came for a month, pilot season. I chose 3. One of my first auditions in my life, so I was scared out of my mind. They didn't know me, I didn't know them. I walked into Quantico and Josh Safran and Nick Pepper and everyone sitting there, did my scene. I remember before I went in there, I talked to myself in the bathroom saying, what? You carry the biggest movies in the world. You're a movie star in India, which is 1/5 of the world's population. You can't do an audition? What's wrong with you? You got this. And I had this whole pep talk with me, and I went in, and I got that, and then there was another show which I liked, which also came to me, which eventually didn't get picked up. But Quantico was my first choice. Alex was never written for an Indian girl, and now obviously the writers have owned my ethnicity and made that a part of Alex. But I think that blew my mind, that I just came here, read a script, liked it, auditioned, it happened, it got picked up. We got picked up for 13, now we're doing 19, now we're doing 22, and it's, the ratings are doubling every weekend. It's like, that's blowing my mind a little bit.
Well, that's a wrap on another fun episode. Make sure to join us again behind the velvet rope.